What's up, guys? It's Mo from Meat and the Meatless, and I want to talk to you guys quickly about the benefits of eating higher fat and why I made the switch and what I've noticed since making that switch. And when I say higher fat, I don't mean high fat, I just mean higher than maybe you might currently be eating. Excuse me, especially if you're on like an 80-10-10 kind of thing. The first thing I want to say is if the way that you're eating works for you, great. This is just my personal experience, and I know this has been some other people's experience as well. So there's definitely something to it. Firstly, for about 3 years or so, I ate really, really low fat for a couple of reasons. Just number one, to try it. Number two, to see how I felt, and so on and so forth. So I did that. I ate low fat for a good 3 years or so, low fat, plant-based, and I felt, good energy and everything, and I wasn't like unhealthy or something like that. But I did have a couple of issues that I didn't realize at the time were because of that extremely low fat diet over such a long period of time. So a lot of people don't want to eat a lot of fat because they feel like they're gonna get fat, or they feel like it's unhealthy, or they feel like they're gonna be lethargic because of the digestion of the fats. So I just kind of want to put some of those myths to bed. Anyway, some of the things that I noticed when I was eating low fat is that my feet, within a couple of weeks to a couple of months, my feet were always dry. They would be so dry that I would have to moisturize them multiple times a day because they would just it'd be uncomfortable because they were so dry. And then also my eyes would get really dry, especially when I was tired, but sometimes not even when I was tired, they would just be so dry. Also my skin. So I naturally have really good skin. I get it from my mother's side and my father's side, but my skin just didn't look the same. It was like it lost some of its plumpness, right? And I mean, you could say, oh, that's because you were leaner. No, I wasn't leaner when I started eating less fat. It didn't make me leaner. I was already really lean. So just because you eat less fat doesn't mean that you're going to be less fat. That's a common misconception, but it's not true at all. So once I made the switch, and to give you an idea of how much fat I was eating before, I at a body weight of about 230 pounds to 240 pounds, I was getting anywhere from maybe 20 to 30 grams of fat on most days, and maybe a little more on some days. But yeah, probably more, like a lot of days it was more on the 25 grams of fat for the entire day as a big guy. And that meant a lot more, that meant a lot more carbs. And, when you're eating so many carbs all throughout the day, you can develop some insulin resistance. I don't know that I developed any insulin resistance, but it's just something to think about. Like if a person is already having some problems with that, you probably wouldn't want to eat more carbs than you need. So anyway, once I made the switch and started eating higher fat, getting more like 50 to 100 grams of fat a day, the first thing I noticed was my feet. My feet, within probably a couple days, maybe a week at the most, they weren't dry anymore. I didn't have to moisturize them or anything. The dryness just left. Then I noticed my eyes, same thing. My skin, I noticed looking better, filling out, and a more stable energy. Like if I'm working out or whatever it is I'm doing, I have energy for longer, and obviously that's because fat digests slower, and often if you're eating a good amount of fat, you're maybe getting a little bit more calories than you would have been getting before. That doesn't necessarily have to be true, but you know, in my case, deliberately getting more calories is what I do. Um, so yeah, so just like a more sustained energy than you get with carbs, because carbohydrates tend to digest so fast, especially like when it's fruits and stuff like that. And they digest much faster than fats do. So those are just a couple things that I noticed, guys. And to me, those things are really good benefits that are worth it to eat a little more fat. Now, I would say there's a limit. If you go too high in fat, you are gonna find yourself maybe not feeling your best, maybe being a little bit lethargic, or maybe your digestion won't be as good, you know. But you have to go pretty high to do that. So I would say, if right now, if you're eating a low-fat diet, just give moderate fat a try, and particularly from omega-3 rich sources. Those are the best ones that you want to be getting, because we're getting a lot of omega-6 from a lot of the foods that we're eating, but we're not getting a lot of omega-3. And when you have high levels of omega-6 and low levels of omega-3, it causes inflammation in the body, and we don't want that. So yeah, anyway, that's all I got for this one. I hope this helps you guys. I'll see y'all soon for part 2 of my gaining 20 pounds video, where I'm going to be probably back up like around 2:30, and I'll just show you guys. So I'll see y'all soon on the next one, all right? Peace.